Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the news beat presented to you by Ladies Like. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. The government of Rwanda has invested heavily in healthcare system, but delivering medical supplies in the hilly country has proved to be a major problem. Its scattered population and poor infrastructure has hindered the transportation of medical assistance to prevent many of its rural citizens from dying under preventable circumstances. However, a drone system has been introduced by Rwanda's government in a partnership with Zipline Company in order to improve on the medical supplies delivery. Doctors in rural areas will be able to order for medical supplies via text messages, and within a minute, the custom-built drone will deliver the medical packages. The drones called Zips are to mainly carry medical supplies and blood and can travel for more than 75 miles in a single battery charge. They use GPS and Rwanda cellular network to navigate their programmed route, and the medical packages they carry are dropped on a low altitude with a parachute. The drone system will be able to make 50 to 150 medicine and blood deliveries to Rwanda's 21 transfusing facilities. The drone system is based on a fleet of 15 drone aircrafts whose flight plan is stored in their SIM cards. The 15 drone fleet will service about half of Rwanda before expanding to the rest of the country next year. Rwanda's plans of delivering high-standard healthcare are on track, as it is set to become the first country in the world to establish a national commercial drone network. Mulago Hospital has acquired more cancer testing machines. Our reporter MC Loy is here with the details.
There has been an increase in cancer patients in Uganda, but Uganda Cancer Institute remains the only facility that provides specialized treatment for cancer. Earlier this year, the country's only cobalt radiotherapy machine broke down beyond repair, leaving many cancer patients from across the country in despair. However, Mulago Hospital recently acquired new machines for testing blood and skin cancers through a loan from the African Development Bank in order to improve on its delivery services. It acquired a skin cancer testing machine called the Copper 6000 Analyzer and the hematology machine XN1000 that tests blood cancers like leukemia, along with an automated microbiology machine which will help prevent misdiagnosis as it identifies the organisms in the body and also prescribes the cure for the disease. The machines will also help in early cancer detection, thus reducing advanced cancer cases. And 80% of the cancer patients recorded at the Uganda Cancer Institute are at the advanced stages. Prostate, breast and cervical cancers have the highest incidence rates. But cancer in Uganda has increased due to obesity, lack of exercise and harmful diets. Poorly stored grains like groundnuts, which possess aflatoxins which can cause cancer, have also exposed Ugandans to the fatal health danger. According to the World Health Organization, Uganda's expenditure on healthcare is the lowest in East Africa and needs to improve to cater for the 300,000 cancer cases that the country is expected to register each year. The Uganda Cancer Institute will need an increase in government funds, as it is now recording a rise in cancer cases from 1,000 to 3,000 every month. I'm MC Loy, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, MC Loy, for that report. Kenya has announced the closure of its refugee camps. Our reporter MC Yala is here with a full report.
Kenya is the largest recipient of refugees in the East African region, but it has announced the closure of its refuge camps and stood firm by its decision. The Kenyan government says the move was made to protect Kenya's economy and security, but says the humanitarian needs of the refugees are the international community's responsibility. There have been plans to shut down all refuge camps in Kenya, but the targeted camps that will be shut down are Dadaab and Kakuma. Most of the 300,000 refugees in the world's biggest refuge camp of Dadaab are escaping insurgents from Somalia, orchestrated by the extremist group of Al-Shabaab, and most of the 190,000 refugees in Kakuma are escaping the armed conflict in South Sudan. Human rights groups have asked Kenya to abide by the Kenyan and international refugee law, which prohibits the forceful return of refugees to any place still at war. The rights groups also said the Kenyan government lacked credible evidence at the least linking the refugees in these camps to the attacks in Kenya by Islamist extremists. Doctors Without Borders have also appealed to the Kenyan government to reconsider its position, as hundreds of thousands of refugees will be sent back to war-torn regions, which would make it almost impossible for humanitarian agencies to give medical or humanitarian assistance or have access to the refugee refugees. In 2013, a similar plan was discussed by the Kenyan government, but its proposal was denied by Kenya's members of parliament. In 2015, the Kenyan government suggested the same measures, but withdrew from their intentions under international pressure. This time it has taken a bold step and dissolved its Department of Refugees Affairs after hosting refugees from its war-torn neighbors for 25 years. I'm MC Yala, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, MC Yala, for that report. Ivory Coast is the biggest producer of cocoa beans on the planet, and yet its local citizens have never really embraced chocolate. But the trend is changing as the country has decided to utilize its most prized commercial asset to make the locally made chocolate for the local market. The Ivory Coast government has constructed its first major chocolate factory to produce 10,000 tons of chocolate annually. The 6 million euros investment was built for large-scale production to create jobs and support the growing local consumption. Cocoa production has created 2 1/3 of the country's jobs and accounts for more than a half of the country's exports. But this is the first time chocolate is being made in Ivory Coast. The majority of its citizens know very little about chocolate, even when it produces 35% of the global cocoa. Other videos showing Ivorian cocoa farmers eating chocolate for the first time went viral. However, many supermarkets in Ivory Coast are now adding chocolate to their stock with a Made in Ivory Coast trademark. The world's biggest producer of chocolate have made billions of dollars in profits by relying on Ivory Coast cocoa beans that are sent abroad and processed. But Ivory Coast intends to keep most of these profits within the country and is planning to process 50% of its own cocoa by 2020. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like, reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Follow the beat.